Good afternoon, everyone. I am I am Umama, coordinator, Nurture Life. Thank you for sparing some time from your day to attend this workshop. Nurture Life is a non-profit organization established with the aim of providing solutions to the mental health issues which are prevalent in our society. It is founded by Farah Sarosh. Nurture Life is based in Lucknow that works in the field of mental health and suicide prevention, not only in India but also in other parts of the world like Romania, USA, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Nepal, and Bangladesh. People struggling with their mental health may be in your family, living next door, teaching your children, working in the next cubicle, or sitting in the same room. Nurture Life is trying to break the silence around it. Nurture Life is also a movement which explains that people experiencing mental illness or negativity in their life are not alone and that there is always a ray of hope. Before starting the workshop, I would like to share some instructions that are to be followed during the workshop. Kindly refrain from causing disturbances by keeping your mics on mute. And there will be a question and answer session at the end of the presentation where participants are free to ask their queries. And certificates will be awarded to participants who attend the full workshop and fill the feedback form at the end of the session. Over to you, Padmini.
Thank you, Mama. I am Padmini, coordinator Nurture Life. I would like to introduce our speaker, Dr. Ashwini Kamath. Dr. Ashwini Kamath is a dentist with over 20 years clinical experience, 10 years of which she has worked in army hospitals in various places in India. Currently, she is practicing from her own clinic in Bengaluru. She is, she is also a hypnotherapist, having done her master's in it, a hypnodontist, a certified past life regression therapist, an NLP practitioner, a future life progression practitioner, an inner child healing facilitator, a meditation trainer, an EFT practitioner, a certified tarot reader, and a life in between lives facilitator. She has worked for many social causes. Her private clinic in Bengaluru is one of its kind totally wheelchair accessible dental clinic. She is passionately involved in creating social awareness by talking about topics like organ donation, anti-bullying, inclusiveness in society, financial planning, gender sensitization, and anxiety or stress management. A voracious reader and a passionate writer, she has published many of her articles in various Indian magazines and online in websites. She is also a consultant with a leading web portal of health, www.physioheals.in. She also maintains a Facebook page which has garnered lot of attention and appreciation over the past 3 years. Over the past 3 years, she has conducted various workshops, talks, seminars both in person and online through her wellness portal, Dragonflies, on various topics related to mental, emotional, and spiritual health. She is a person who believes in creating smiles that radiate from your soul and finds its mark on your face. And she is one person who helps with you with both. Over to you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Padmini, for such a wonderful introduction. A very warm welcome. Touched my heart. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Jayan sir, for putting me in touch with Umama ma'am. And it's my pleasure and honor to be here on this platform to be creating awareness about such an important topic, which we have all struggled with, guilt. Okay. So I have a very small PPT that I would like to show in between, but this is going to be more of an interactive session, and it is also going to be an experiential one because I believe that whatever you experience is what you will be more aware of. Okay. So we'll have a short session of experiential learning about what we have gained, what we have learned through our guilt. Okay. So if it's a thumbs up from everyone, we can start. Yes. Can we have some thumbs up? Wonderful. Thank you, Mama. Wonderful. Okay. So I'll just share my screen. Visible?
Yes.
Okay.
सब कुछ सीखा हमने ना सीखी होशियारी, सब कुछ सीखा हमने ना सीखी होशियारी, सच है दुनिया वालों के हम हैं अनाड़ी.
So this is a song that we all connect to with the feeling of guilt. That brings us to what guilt is. Guilt is the gift that keeps on giving. So I want all of you to get more interactive from now on. You can put things down in the chat. You can also unmute and you can tell me in between. If you raise your hand, we can unmute you. So I want you all to raise your hands who has never felt guilty in their life. Can hands go up? No hands? Anyone who has never experienced the emotion of guilt? Okay. So whoever has felt guilty for at least something, at least once in your life, please put up your hands. Wonderful. Wonderful. See, I was one person who used to feel guilty about everything. You can say guilt was my first name, my middle name, and my last name. So I wake up like 10 minutes late in the morning and I'm feeling guilty. Because I got up late, I can't go for a walk, again guilty. Because I was late again, I skipped breakfast, guilty. Or maybe I overate, guilty again. Maybe I didn't call a friend or I didn't find time to, connect with someone as I had promised, guilty. I didn't do something, guilty. If I did something, again guilty. Ultimately, I start feeling guilty even if I don't feel guilty. And I feel guilty even when I feel guilty. Connects, no? So my feeling now is my guilt is also feeling guilty. Working women, forget working women. Every single woman, each one of us, we have a PhD in guilt. Yes or no? Yes? Sounds familiar, right? In fact, we even feel guilty when we feel happy. How many of you feel this? Hands can go up. Oh, wonderful. Okay. So I'm sure all of us have watched movies, be it Hollywood, be it Bollywood. So the hero is the good guy, the villain is the bad guy. And the villain is the one who does the bad things. He's guilty of crime. So we always want the good guy to win, right? So Bisham, Bisham, the villain, and the hero wins. And then villain ka the end, the heroine falls into the hero's arms and they live happily ever after. Watched such movies, right? But does this happen in real life? Just sit and contemplate for a second. Now let me ask you one question. If supposing, see all of you, how many of you are here? 48 of you. So I'm so happy with each one of you because you have attended my lecture today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to gift you a magic clock, or maybe a magic wristwatch. And this is magical, okay? It can turn back time. And this magic clock can take you back to your past and it can help you change something about it. Will you take this if I gift it to you today? How many of you would want it? Yeah, wonderful, wonderful. Okay. But there's one condition, there is always one condition associated with it. You can change your past, but all those lessons, all those learnings, all those experiences that you have gained because of that one incident in your past which you want to change, that shall be gone. I will take all that away, all those lessons, all those experiences, all those learnings. So you will erase your past and everything associated with it. So you will lose whatever you have learned from that lesson. Now, would you want this gift? How many of you would want it even now? So mostly you will realize that we want to have our cake and eat it also. We want those lessons, we want those learnings, we want those experiences, but we want to change the past. Wonderful, right? Human brain. So now let's come to the topic of guilt. Okay. I mentioned it's a gift that keeps on giving. It is something that we carry as a burden through our life. So guilt basically is an emotional experience. Okay. It's a bondage, like how the image I had put there. Pair ki bediya. It's a bondage. It's not a binding. And it's always in our past. It's always in retrospect that we feel guilt. Okay. And we always look at the past from a perspective of today. That is, me as an adult in today, look back at myself in the yesterday, and we are either criticizing, we are comparing, or we are being judgmental about what we have done or what we have not done. It's never in the present. It's always like there are emotions like anger, like sadness, like joy. These are usually in the present. But the guilt is not like that. It's always in retrospect. Guilt is either a belief system or a feeling. And we always have to introspect and find out whether this feeling of guilt comes from my belief or from what I am feeling for something I have done or not. Okay. It can be very individual or it can be thrust on you. Now, guilt is an emotion that we always feel only in places where we care the most, where we love, we care. And it's not about ourselves. Sorry, it's always about ourselves. It's not about others. It's always what we think that we have done or we have not done. Okay. So guilt is like a habit. It's like a muscle, like how we build on our biceps or triceps. Guilt is something that we build. So it's a period of time which is required to bring in this emotion also. It's like a pattern and it develops repeatedly. The more you practice it, the more stronger it gets, the more it evolves. So it has to be repeated again and again. Okay. And so many times it comes very reflexively. When the situation is similar, you tend to feel in a similar way. So it's a conditioned emotion. We learn how to feel guilty. See, a child doesn't know. A small child doesn't know how to feel guilty. We teach the child how to feel guilty. पैंट में पॉटी किया, बैड बॉय. मार्क्स कम आ गए एग्जाम में, अच्छे नहीं किया, यू हैव नॉट डन वेल इन योर एग्जाम्स, नॉट गुड. Go sit there and write, I will do my homework 100 times. Remember? This is how we were taught to feel guilty. We learned it at home, we learned it at school, we learned it everywhere we went. Right? See, very often, children of parents who are separated or divorced feel that it is their fault. Here, what happens is there is no sense of self in a child, like how we discussed yesterday. Yesterday was the topic of inner child healing, where we saw that a child up till the age of 8 or 9 years, or even till sometimes 12 years, has got what is called the egocentric stage. Egocentric. And that means the child takes personal responsibility for everything that happens around them. So the child usually feels that whatever is happening around is because of them. Am I responsible for this? Have I done something wrong? Is something wrong with me? Am I not enough? And this goes on through life. You know what happens is at the end of the day, they think that life is a struggle. Everything is not going according to plan. Nothing is working out. So they feel like they're this guinea pig which is running on the wheel, and they're not able to get out, and they're just constantly in that rat race. And they keep asking themselves this one question that we have all asked ourselves at least once in our lifetime. Why me? How many of you have thought over this question? Hands can go up. Why is this happening to me? Why are things going wrong? Why am I facing this issue? Why? Right? Yes. Thank you so much for sharing. See, guilt is a choice. It's a choice that we make. We decide that we want to feel guilty, and we choose to believe that we have made a mistake. Believe me, a mistake is always in retrospect. So what we do is we condemn ourselves and we say the other person was good and I did the bad thing. I shouldn't have done that. I mustn't have done that, or I must have done this and I didn't do that. Okay. So it's always taking on extra responsibility even when it is not needed. So many times it is needed also, agreed. Okay. So guilt is a choice. It's a personal choice. And why does this happen? Because we judge ourselves. We are very good at judging ourselves, right? See, judgment usually happens when we look at ourselves through the lens of the other person. So it's basically that there is expectations of what others have from us, okay, and what they think we should do or we shouldn't do, which impairs our own judgment about ourselves. So what we do is we end up becoming too self-critical. We judge ourselves, we label ourselves. And for a second now, I want all of you to just close your eyes. Okay, just close your eyes for a second. Take in a deep breath. Inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth. Let your exhale be deeper. And I want you to complete one sentence that I say in your mind. Okay. So I want you to complete this sentence. Be true, be authentic. And you can tell in your mind, you don't have to even put it here in the chat. I am filling the blanks. What labels do you give yourself? How have you been judging yourself? How do you criticize yourself? Just fill in the blanks. I'll give you 10 seconds. Everyone is done? Yes? Okay. Wonderful. See, some of us, we end up feeling more guilty than the other people. And this happens because we always judge ourselves. And as I said, we always judge ourselves through the lens of the other person. So probably if we had people who would judge us very frequently in childhood, okay, they would say, oh, you're doing this, Ashwini, you shouldn't have done that. Or why aren't you doing this, Ashwini? You were supposed to do this. I didn't expect this from you. So what happens is we become very critical about ourselves. Now, this is what we call as the inner child wounds. So we had just one workshop yesterday on that topic. Please feel free to reach the organizers. You can have a look at the recorded video. It is available on YouTube. Okay. That should help you understand what an inner child wound is and what you can do about it. Also, on the contrary, there are some people who never feel guilty, even if they're supposed to. It's as if that there is a guilt switch and it has been turned off. In fact, they make the others feel guilty even for what they have done. I'm sure at least we know one person in our life who is like this. Raise hands if you do. Wonderful. Yes. Wonderful, wonderful. So this is what we call as projection. Okay. So how many of you have played passing the parcel as a child? What happens is everybody sits in a circle and there is music playing and there is a parcel which is being passed on from one person to another, right? So how many of you played this? All of you have played it, right? As kids in birthday parties. Yes. So you know what happens? We do the same thing in our life also. Life to apni band baja hi rahi hai, right? We are facing the music in our life. And the emotions get too overwhelming at times for us to handle. Okay. And we have not been taught how to regulate our emotions, how we can handle our emotions. So what do? We want to get rid of it as soon as possible because we're not able to hold it. There is this game called hot potato also. The potato is so hot that you cannot hold on to it. So what do? Throw it into the next person's hands. So what do we do here? We pass it on to the next nearest available person. You want to just get rid of it. At least for the time being, let's get rid of it, right? So if we have a bad day at work, take it out on your spouse. You had a crappy day at home, mom will take it out on the kids. Happens, no? How many of you have done this? I am guilty of this. Yes, yes. So this is what happens when you feel guilty. Now there was this one slide that I would want to share. Just give me a minute. Yes, visible? Is
Yes.
it visible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So what is the reason that this emotion comes about? Okay. See, we operate from the fear, the flight, the fight, the freeze responses. So whenever there is an external stimuli and we undergo what is called the UDIN, so there is a situation which is totally unexpected. We don't know what to do in this situation. It is very dramatic. So we almost feel like we are a character in a drama. Things are happening around us, which is totally like this was not in the script, something is suddenly everything is haphazard. And you feel isolated, you feel alone, you do not know how to react in that situation, and you have absolutely no plan. You do not know what to do in this situation. So this is what causes the initial stress. It's the initial stressor. Okay. So whenever our stress response is stimulated, there is the first reaction is fear. Our reptilian limbic brain sends a signal which says you have to do something about this situation. So the fear is like the first gear of your car. You can start your engine with it, but you cannot run far. So either you will run away from the situation, which is flight, or you will fight the situation. You will fight when you know that you have a certain, you might win against that enemy is when you will fight. Otherwise, you will run away from that situation. And when you can do neither of those, you end up getting frozen. That is the freeze response. When you numb yourself to that particular situation, to that pain. Okay. So what do we do when we experience fear? There are two ways that we can react. One is acting out and the other is acting in. Okay. So when we are basically acting out, we are playing dumb charades. Like I say, dumb charades is, there is a game we all play called dumb charades, wherein there is a person who's standing and he's supposed to express what is the name of the movie or whatever. And there are people who are giving hints, who sit and give hints. He's not supposed to talk. He's supposed to, through his expressions, he's supposed to tell what he wants to tell. So when we do not know how to express our emotions, all of us play dumb charades. So when you're talking about anger, we are talking about rage, we are talking about, sadness, crying, all of these, grief, all of this we act out, and we also do act in when we bottle in these emotions. And whether we act out or we act in is again an inner child wound, because this comes from our past. Okay. We take that experience of the past to decide whether we need to act out or we need to act in. So when we are acting in, we are bottling all those emotions inside us, and they ultimately come out as psychosomatic ailments. All those diseases that we are all experiencing, like may it be migraine, may it be a irritable bowel syndrome, may it be a BP, sugar, whatever it is. These are all 99.9% of diseases that we are experiencing now are all psychosomatic. Okay. There is a mental, there is a spiritual, there is an emotional and a physical aspect to each of these. Okay. So let's talk about acting out. Let it be even acting in. there is a trigger, as you can see. That's an event that happens, which is the Uden, and then you act out. Because you acted out, you feel a certain amount of shame or a guilt. I shouldn't have done that. And that makes you feel that you should hide it, leads to secrecy. And the more you hide it, you realize you cannot let others know about this, causes the isolation. And with the isolation steps in separation, because when you are not your authentic self, you cannot connect with another being. Okay? In the same level, there is a separation. And this separation, again, it causes pain. Okay? So there is again a trigger. And this cycle keeps getting repeated. This is what happens with most of us. Agree? Hands can go up. Yes. So now I ask you, now I want all of you to give me reasons why we feel guilty. Come on, let's have some answers. Why do we feel guilty?
Yes, ma'am, you can unmute. And the participant, you can unmute your end. After that, kindly mute.
Hello, ma'am. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yeah, this is Rajeshwari.
I am Anita.
Yeah, one
No,
by
ma'am,
one,
I am
one by
Anita.
one. One by
Okay,
one.
okay, sir, I wait. Okay.
This is Rajeshwari.
Yes, continue.
Yeah. The guilt you feel, it's because you hurted someone whom you love, or whoever is your relation, maybe a friend or a parent or a sibling. So that guilt is because you have hurt their feelings, and what is, what they believed in you, and you hurted them. That's one of the reasons I feel personally.
You are unmute. Mic is muted. Ashwini, ma'am, kindly unmute.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Yeah,
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
done with it, ma'am.
Okay, anyone else?
Yes,
I
ma'am.
feel that
Sorry,
this is
yeah.
Annapurna from Kolkata. I feel that when we keep high expectation or we don't meet the expectations of others, then we feel guilty.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right.
Can I say?
One more point I would like to share.
Yes.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Yeah, actually, the people, those who are kind-hearted and those are emotional or sensitive by nature, even without their any fault, they feel guilt that why I hurt the other person. They are feeling bad about that particular thing.
Yes.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I would like more views.
There's another thing.
Yes.
When we do something which we are not supposed to do, which is against our own ethics and our own parameters of behavior, then we feel that guilt.
Absolutely right. Absolutely.
Dr.
Yes.
Ashwin, I just want to ask why people who introspect more feel more guilty in comparison to people who has judgmental attitude.
We'll go through this now. That is the reason why I asked this question, because we are going to deal with this emotion. We are going to dissect it to its core today. So I want to know what all is there in our minds.
And hi, this
Yes,
is Niharika. Yeah, and one of the reasons why I felt guilty was for expressing myself.
Yes.
At that time, it's very difficult, which is right. Whether hiding my emotions was right or expressing was wrong. But the ultimate result will be the guilt.
It's again an inner child wound.
Yes.
So anyone else would like to? Anyone? Okay. So
Hello, ma'am.
yes.
Good afternoon. I am Anita from Mumbai. Ma'am, I have experienced several times, but one thing I want to express here. Once upon a time, what happened? Some umbrella who remained umbrella, manned umbrella. I called that man at my home. He was downstairs. And my landlady, she gave me cup of tea. I am not in habit to take tea. That person, I felt he needed tea, but I could not give because the landlady gave it to me. So I could not give him, and I felt he was so tired looking that. Then he said, "Ma'am, I am coming. Then I will mend your umbrella." He went. I realized that then I should have given him. I should have offered him. Still, it long back, happened 10 years back, but still hurting me.
Yes.
I'm really sometimes I'm very emotional.
Yes, I can understand that. I can totally understand what you have gone through. Thank you so much for sharing this. See, normally what happens is we feel very guilty whenever we compromise with either our values or morals. Okay. It usually happens when we think that others' belief system is more important than our own value system. It can be either that we are doing some kind of a compromise with the other person, or it can also be because of force, and that makes us feel guilty. Very often, this is something that I used to face. Whenever I say no to someone, whenever I try and establish my boundary and say, no, this is something that I don't want to do or I will not do, it makes me feel guilty. It makes me feel like I'm the bad person for refusing someone what they wanted. And this happens when we don't have very clear boundaries in our relationships. See, people can be people pleasers because we want everyone to like us. Okay. Somewhere inside, we feel that we will not be liked by others for who we are. So we have to be this good person. We have to do what they say. We have to be the way they expect us to be. One is we need acknowledgement, acceptance, and we need validation. It says my internet connection is unstable. Am I audible?
Yes, no more audible.
Okay, okay. Because I just got a statement saying internet connection unstable. Okay. So we always seeking appreciation and validation from others. Okay, because this happens because somewhere we feel inadequate. We do not have it within us. We do not appreciate ourselves. It's again an inner child wound. And we had discussed this yesterday in our webinar. So we feel guilty when we think something wrong. Yes. When we say something wrong, when we do something wrong. Let's give examples. So I scold my child and I feel guilty. Or I behave badly with the loved one and I feel guilty, right? So when I do something bad, it is what we call as the guilt tripping. So you're basically on a journey of guilt. You've started on that journey. Okay. So there are so many times when others tell you you should feel guilty for something you have done. Aren't you ashamed of yourself? How could you even do that? I didn't expect this from you. How many of us have heard this? Right now? Yeah, absolutely, Adya. So Adya's hands always go up first. I'm so glad you're here today. So when others tell you you have done something wrong, if they're trying to make you feel guilty, they're basically judging you or labeling you based on their lens. And we take on our own value through that lens, right? So we also feel guilty if someone close to us does something wrong. Say my daughter or my son goes and does something wrong. Okay, the mother would feel guilty, right? She had not done anything, but she feels guilty for the action of her children, for the bad behavior. What if my children go and create a mess at a party in somebody's house? I feel guilty, right? There is also something we call as survival guilt that we are seeing in today's age because of this pandemic. So survivor guilt is when there is death, there are people who have departed, there is accidents which are happening, and somehow you are saved. Somehow you are fine and everyone around you is suffering. You see people suffering around you and you're like, Oh God, what have I done that I have to see all this? And why am I spared? मुझे क्यों नहीं ले लिया? मुझे भी ले लो. I have seen so many of them who come in for therapy who have lost a very loved, near and dear one, and they tell me, I wish it was me in their place. Especially when it is a young person and the parent is left, the child is dead. It is totally heartbreaking. And this again leads to survivor guilt. So we also feel guilty, like how someone just mentioned now, that someone expects you to do something and you don't do it. Right? Again, that makes you feel guilty. And some people, like I mentioned, have a PhD in guilt. So they just love feeling guilty. Okay? This is because of inner child wounds. So the sentences that they tell themselves are something like, I am responsible for what is happening. Because of me, this is happening. Or somebody is hurt. It's all my fault. Or I always do something like this which causes someone to get hurt or harmed. Why am I like this? Right? So how many of you feel this? You can put up your hands. Yeah.
Ma'am, I wanted to ask something. I want to share actually. Can I do this?
Yes, please.
Yeah, ma'am, actually sometimes a person wanted to not to do that thing. Like sometimes it happens that if we are doing something and that person is a manipulative person and he doesn't want us to do that thing. So he also make us feel guilty. You are very selfish. You are very demanding. You're very needy. You always always do this. You always overreact. So these kind of words when said to us, we kind of stop and we just go back 2-3 steps, but that creates a kind of a guilt inside us, ma'am.
Yes.
So how can we overcome that also?
So this is one major lesson that every one of us needs to learn, especially women. Okay. So what we have is called the good girl syndrome, where we want to do everything that the other person expects from us. And if we feel guilty when we don't do it, and the main reason that we feel this is because we have not been able to establish our boundaries well. So my sincere suggestion is that try establishing your boundaries. Be very specific about what is okay in your life and what is not okay. Be authentic. Ask yourself where your energy is getting drained. Okay? And try and plug those leaks. Say that this is something which I'm okay with and I'm ready to do this, but beyond this, sorry, boss, this is not my cup of tea. Okay? You need to have a very clear boundary with every single relationship that you have in life. Again, boundaries is a very huge topic and maybe some other day. So we can try and deal with this in one of our workshops also. So it's a major life lesson. Okay. And it takes some time to develop also, because we have always been the proverbial doormat, So we allow people to just walk over us, rub their shoes on us and say, okay, thanks, boss, or maybe even no thanks and walk off. We have allowed this. And we have allowed it for ages because we are people pleasers. And this has happened again because we fear abandonment. See how it starts? Fear, the first gear of your car. You are scared that if I don't do this, this person will leave me. This person will desert me. Ask yourself whether you're in a bondage or are you in a relationship? Do you need this relationship? Then it has to be a two-way street. One person can't keep taking advantage of the other person. It is a two-way street. There has to be a midway. Both of them have to be equally self-responsible and not take advantage of the other. Okay? That's why it's called a ship, no? Relationship.
Yes, ma'am. Right, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you so much for sharing this. I know that it's something that you're struggling with, and I do hope you find your peace. Okay. So I want all of you to ask yourself, which were the 3 questions I just mentioned. One was that I feel responsible for, and because of me, things are happening. And why am I always doing this to hurt someone, right? Something like that. So I want all of you to introspect and ask these questions to yourself and write down the answers. Please maintain a journal where you can jot down whatever thoughts come to your mind. Because whenever you're putting it down on black and white, when you're putting it down on paper, it somehow the thoughts become very concrete for you. It's no longer just something which is there in your head. Okay, so it becomes more concrete. It becomes more evident. You might have 1,000 thoughts in your head, but when you put it down on paper, it's just one, consolidated. Okay, so I want all of you to maintain a journal where you can just jot down every single day. Okay, that helps. It has helped me in my journey, and this is something that I'm sharing with all of you. So what are the types of guilt that we all experience? First is what we call as reactive guilt. So what is reactive guilt? When I feel that I did something which I had not expected. For example, I always knew that I will not hit my kids. It goes against my moral values, my personal values. But somehow I got very angry and I gave one tamacha on his face. So how does that make me feel? It makes me feel guilty. I shouldn't have done that. And then I feel I'm a bad mom because I did that. That's a reactive guilt. Okay. Then there is something called anticipatory guilt, when something has not yet happened, but you are feeling guilty for it. So let's take an example. So I see that all my husband's relatives are trying to take advantage of him. Okay, all imaginary scenarios I'm telling you, it can be anything. So the people are trying to take advantage of him. They're trying to dupe him, cheat him out of all his money, property, whatever. Okay, and I know that this is happening, but I'm not telling him anything. Okay, I know 100% he's going to get affected. He'll be hurt by their actions and by the way they're behaving, whatever they're doing. But what if I tell him, I will hurt his feelings? If I don't tell him, he gets hurt. But if I tell him, I become the bad person. So again, this is guilt, right? There's something called existential guilt that we feel, constant guilt. Life is not fair, yeah. Things are not going fine. Okay. Zindagi har kadam ek nayi jang hai. We'll sing songs also on that. So we feel everybody is suffering because of me. I'm such a bad person. It's because of me that everything is going wrong. Existential. We also have the survivor guilt, when one person is left out and they're all alone and the other people are not there. Survivor guilt. There's something that we face which is called as toxic guilt. This comes from inner child wounds. This comes when you have been abused either physically, emotionally, psychologically, spiritually. Okay, this happens when you're repeatedly being told it's not okay for you to express your emotions. It's not okay for you to be the way you are. So what happens is, we no longer are human beings. We become human doings. Correct? So when I do this, I'm okay. But if I don't do this, I'm bad. So we're basically trying and doing stuff in order to be good. So we are not our authentic self. We no longer even know who we are on the inside. We are hidden under so many masks that we ourselves don't know who we are. This is toxic guilt. It takes a very long time to get out of toxic guilt. And there's something we all experience called collective guilt. Entire community feels guilty. Maybe they have not even done anything, but they feel guilty. Let's take an example. Nazi, Germans. Even today, they feel guilty for what had happened donkeys years ago. Now there are no Nazis, there is no Hitler. Nothing like that is happening, probably, touch wood. But they're still feeling guilty about what happened, right? Hiroshima and Nagasaki. This is collective guilt. Okay. How do we even accumulate this guilt? From where do we get this guilt? Such a wonderful emotion. Where do we get it from? We get it from our family, our parents, society around us, belief systems that are thrust on us, expectations, religions. What else? Please tell me. Where else do you find this emotion of guilt which is thrust on you? Yes, you can put it in the chat box.
Ma'am, I
My
also feel when we sorry, ma'am, what I say, when mob lynching is happening our country, I feel really, I feel very bad because, and we have done something like in Bangalore, there was some procession like this, not on my name.
Oh, okay.
So I am also saying someone is doing that, and we are feeling guilt.
Yes, yes, absolutely, absolutely. Yes, this is an emotion that we take on. Okay. Now, what goes on? What happens when you're feeling guilty? See, every single emotion, the word emotion itself indicates it is energy in motion, emotion. So, every single emotion you experience in your body, it manifests through this physical entity of your body. Okay. So, how do you feel this emotion of guilt? It can be muscle tensions, it can be body aches that you feel, a headache, maybe a stomach ache. See, what happens is when you're not able to stomach something, when you're not able to digest something, then it comes up as digestive issues. When you're not able to swallow it, okay, you can't express it, you can't communicate it, it comes up as throat ailments. You start feeling somehow inadequate because you have done or you have not done something that you were supposed to do. There is a lot of self doubt. Oh, I wish I had done this. Okay. There is self esteem which gets reduced because, again, you fell down in your own parameters, right? So there is self blame. There is, you isolate yourself because you certainly feel that you shouldn't have done something or you should have done something and you didn't do it. So you blame yourself. There is, when you start blaming yourself, you punish yourself also in certain ways, right? So this self punishment, and when you're punishing yourself in any way, you don't love yourself. There is no self love. You are going through a lot of sadness and distress, especially if someone died or if someone got harmed or got hurt because of what you did or you didn't do, right? So this leads to shame. When you know that someone else is affected because of you, you feel ashamed of yourself. So when you feel ashamed of yourself, then you are in the mentality of being a victim. You are like, oh shit, I have done this. Okay. You also experience OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, at times. You are going through insomnia. You have lost your sleep because you're constantly thinking about that. When we feel guilty, we also tend to change the story. We kind of tweak the script because somewhere it makes us feel less responsible or maybe more responsible, depending on what kind of role we want to play. There's a drama triangle that psychotherapy teaches. There is a victim, there is a person who is the perpetrator, and an observer. There are three angles to every single character that we play, each relationship. So depending on where you are, okay, you tend to change the script also. That helps us make sense and kind of make peace with what is happening. Okay. So we also sometimes overcompensate. A very simple example I can give you is, the father is very busy. Okay. He's working day and night. He's overworking basically. He goes to office, comes back late in the night, and he's got two small children at home who want his attention. So whenever he comes back with gifts, with toys, with things that the children need, right? So this is called overcompensation. So we all see this. We also do this when we feel guilty. I've not been able to pay attention to my kids. Agle din ka khana is going to be extra tasty. Probably something that they love eating. This is overcompensation. We all do that, right? So we also have guilt, which makes us feel that let us do it for a little while. You know, they're called as guilty pleasures. One chota sa chocolate or ice cream on the sly. Let's talk about food, sex, alcohol, drugs, mobile usage, internet, shopping. All of these give us pleasure. It's called as guilty pleasure. We've all experienced this, right? Okay. But let me tell you one thing. We have seen how it is affecting us. We have seen what guilt is. But why do we even need this emotion then if it is so bad? Let me tell you, guilt is not a bad emotion. If there was no guilt, there would be no code of conduct. There would be no laws, no order in life, no rules, no values, no beliefs, nothing. Just imagine a life where there is no guilt. Guilt is a very good emotion because so many times guilt makes us take a certain decision, change for the better in our lives. We come to know when we have made certain wrong choices. So we're able to correct them, get better, improve. If there was no guilt, we can say that there would be warfare, emotional warfare all around us. There would be no saying
Ma'am, I have a
sorry.
question.
Yes.
Ma'am, what should we do when our guilt results in burnouts?
Then you need to ask yourself, okay, that how far should I carry this guilt? Is it even mine to carry? Okay, we'll do a process today so that you understand your guilt. I'm going to be including an experiential process which we will do now. And when you go through this, you will understand whether you need to even hold on to it or let go of it. I hope that will help you.
Yes, ma'am, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So,
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
I love to share one thing, ma'am.
Yes.
And I'm a teacher. I started my journey by 1991.
Yes.
Those days, no, ma'am, I was just like a strict teacher. What my pedagogy is, by giving punishment and everything, we can bring up the child like anything. A child is getting 60 marks, I am not satisfied with that. I'll give enough and more punishment and I'll make the child to get at least 65, 67, 66, something like that. But ma'am, after 10 or 15 years, now I realize how cruel I was. I was not supposed to give this kind of punishment to my child. So I felt 5 years before and I felt very sad, I could say, ma'am. By God's grace, I got the particular child's mom's number. Then I tried to talk with the child. Now he is in a very high position. But when I was talking to him, no, ma'am, literally I was crying. But my son, I could say something like that. He was telling me that, ma'am, don't feel like that. Because of that, this kind of teachers' behavior, maybe I could achieve something in my life, something he told. Still, I am not satisfied with, but little bit I am okay now because after talking to the child, ma'am, what is your opinion on this, ma'am?
You are absolutely right. And I'm so proud of the fact that you did this, you took this step. You should be proud of yourself. It's the right thing to do.
Thank you, ma'am.
And thank you so much for sharing this.
Thank you.
Yes. So as ma'am just mentioned, if we did not have guilt, okay, if we did not feel regret, if we did not feel sorry for what we have done. So what is the difference between regret and guilt? Anyone? What is regret and what is guilt? So whenever we feel guilty, the next step is feeling regret. So when you're saying, oh, I should have done this, I must have done that, I could have done this, it would have been a better decision. Now that is a regret. Okay. And what is remorse? Remorse is another word that we use when we are talking about emotions like guilt. Okay, remorse is that feeling when constantly it stays with you, that you have done something which you regret about, as the next degree. Okay, so just imagine that if ma'am had not felt remorse, what she felt was remorse because it stayed with her for so long. So she wouldn't have made amends. She would not have corrected. She would not have changed that behavior. She would not have asked for forgiveness. She would not have accepted that it is a part of her past. Okay. So this makes a lot of change in the way we look at ourselves. Okay. So if there was no guilt, then we only would have had anger and resentment. Ma'am would have continued with the behavior if she had not feel guilty, right, ma'am? Am I right? Yes, absolutely. So compassion and empathy is what changes our attitude and behavior. And because of this, we end up changing our attitudes, we repair our faults, and we correct our mistakes. Okay? And we do not repeat them again. Whatever you resist, when you're saying, I don't want to get involved in this, it will definitely return back. Okay? This is something that you need to be aware of. So what should we even do? See, guilt always can be turned into remorse. Remorse happens when we feel, when we take self-responsibility and we say that I'm going to make changes. I'm going to correct my mistake. I'm going to do something about this so that it doesn't happen again or it doesn't continue being the same. Okay. But let me tell you one thing. There is guilt ka baap. That is shame. Guilt can always be handled, but shame is not very easy. Now here is something that I would like to screen share. One second. Visible? Okay. So what is the difference between the feeling of shame and the feeling of guilt? Shame says, I am bad. Okay. It's a core hurt. Whereas the guilt says, I did something bad. Or I didn't do something which makes me bad. Okay. So whenever you're feeling shame, you just want to avoid and escape. You just want to isolate yourself. And guilt can lead to remorse. But shame is again, it's like a whirlpool. You keep getting sucked inside. And there is no tomorrow if you are in a sense of shame. Shame also can lead to blame. When you start blaming others, you try and find someone whom you can pin. Okay. Narcissists usually are in this spectrum. Whereas a person who's experiencing guilt probably will feel remorse and take personal self-responsibility. Okay. Okay. So as I mentioned, shame is something that makes us feel that we are bad. The only way that we can address guilt is we try and understand what actually led to that emotion of guilt. Have more clarity about the issue. If you can see how ma'am mentioned, she thought about it. She has given enough thought, enough introspection to what she might have done at that time, and that is what led her to remorse. Okay, so she had more clarity. She understood that she did have a choice. Now please understand that all these core emotions that we experience are major spiritual lessons in life, and they are the ones that really help us to change our perception about ourselves and about others. So the first step when you want to change your perception about guilt is first name your guilt. What are you guilty about? Revisit that particular situation or event and see what you can learn from it. Observe that situation again in retrospect, explore all possible sources and see what kind of belief system you had at that time when you were experiencing it. What factors were there which were beyond your control, things that you couldn't have possibly made a choice at that time. Now today maybe you have a different choice, but probably at that time you didn't have. Whatever resources you had at that time were less as compared to today. So were there any other choices? This is something that you need to explore. See, mistakes always are in retrospect. We all are human and we all make mistakes, right? So you can't hold yourself at gunpoint because you have made a mistake for the rest of your life. You can't hold yourself responsible. Somewhere you have to learn to let that go and correct yourself and get better. See, mistakes when corrected will really lead to a better life. So there is this saying, no, which says, "Der aaye turist aaye." Okay, शाम का क्या? What is that? सुबह का भटका शाम को आया तो that's okay. Something like that, right? We have all these. Just hold on for a second. I think my computer is going to conk off. Oni, बेटा कंप्यूटर ऑन कर दे. मैंने स्विच ऑन करना भूल गई थी. अभी लाइट ऑफ हो रहा है. Thank you so much. Okay. I realized I had not on my computer. Okay. So we need to think over those belief systems that we have had, okay? And we need to revisit whatever we thought were mistakes. And we can see from where we can improve ourselves. And like how Niharika mentioned, okay, what she was going through, the main lesson that we need to learn here is, so many times we carry on guilt of the other person, which is not even ours. So we need to learn how to set very good boundaries also. It's a very important lesson. And this is something that I think it is my life lesson for this lifetime. So we need to, when
Ma'am,
we
there's
feel,
another question.
yes,
Sorry to interrupt.
yes,
What if, according to our ethics, we have done something right, but that's not right for the other person. But we know that we are not wrong. But still, the person, opposite of you is making you feel guilty, is making you feel that you are wrong, is shaming you completely. So how do we deal with that situation?
see here, that is the reason why I said we need to have boundaries, because we all see through a different angle. Okay, what is 6 for you can be 9 for me, no? Maybe for that person his value says that you are wrong and he is right, whereas your value is telling you that you are right and you have not done anything wrong. You need to stick to what you think is right for you, okay? And you shouldn't feel guilty for what you have done or you have not done if you are authentic in yourself. And for that reason I say that having self-love is very important, okay? Because whenever we lack this self-love, we tend to judge ourselves. Somewhere inside you will still feel guilty because the other person told you it's because of you this happened, though you know inside you have not done it.
Ma'am, but what if the person who is telling me all of these things is someone who is very close to me, who is my relative, or maybe
Then
having some blood relation? So what should
more
we
the
do?
reason that you have good boundaries. More the reason. See, the main reason why we need to have boundaries is because we want to have good relationship with others.
Yes, ma'am.
When you are thinking that if I have a boundary and I am trying to stay authentic in myself, I am ending up hurting the other person, is totally wrong. Let me ask you a question. Why does even your house have a compound wall or a fence? Why not keep it open? Do you do that with your emotions? Do you do that with your... Why don't you do it then? It's not that you're protecting yourself also. Here, you're teaching the other person how to treat you.
Yeah.
When you
Yeah,
are not
absolutely.
treating yourself right, how can you expect the other person to treat you right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. It's like having
Yes,
wrong
yes.
double standards, no?
Yes, yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Be authentic. Say, yes, this is me and this is where I stay and this is okay with me and this is not okay with me. Bas, end of topic.
Yes, yes,
There
yes,
is a difference
absolutely.
between being assertive and being aggressive also. Please understand. Okay. Be assertive in your authenticity. अपने अंदर firm रहो ना.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. This is actually again a habit that has to be developed. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Yeah.
But what we should do when there's a fight, or maybe it's with our parents only. Like they are thinking, like we know that it is right for us, but because of the generation gap, they are not willing to understand. So what should we do? How do we deal with that situation?
So how are you ready? See, here one important thing that I can tell you is we have 3 ego personalities that we operate from. Okay, one is a child ego state, one is called the adult ego state, and the other is the parent ego state. So when you are
Yes, ma'am.
talking,
Ego and super ego.
no, that is what you are talking about, Carl Jung, right? Sigmund
Yes,
Freud.
ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
here,
Yes, ma'am.
what you need to do is whenever we are having an interaction with another person, okay, we try to do it as an adult or as a parent when we are trying to control, or we are trying to say that I'm the boss and you need to listen to me, or you're talking like a child when you're begging or you're pleading or you're throwing a tantrum or doing something like that in order to get your way. Okay, from where are you operating? Because if you are talking from the position of a child when you are pleading and you're please, or if you're like nahi main sahi hu, you are a child.
Yeah.
So when you're operating from the ego state of a child, automatically other person will go into the ego state of a parent,
Yes,
of a
yes.
guru, you know. And that communication is bound to crumble. It has to happen.
Yeah.
So what if you talk like an adult? If you give them
Yeah.
reasons, if you show them this is what I am thinking and this is what I want to tell you, and
Yeah.
these are the reasons why I think this is right. Talk like an adult.
Yeah.
Give them
Yeah.
options. Show them how
So
to.
is it possible? But what if the conversation ends up that they are being hurted by me? So if they get hurt, what should I do? Like I don't even want to hurt them, right?
You're
So
trying to
what's the
fragilize
other
them.
way? Yeah,
You're trying to
like I want to
fragilize them.
negotiate. Like I want to be like diplomatic at the same way. I don't want to hurt them. I want to make them understand what I'm trying to say,
Okay,
and
let
I
me
want to
ask you
convince
one
them.
thing. Do you
Yeah.
think a person will be so hurt, that so heartbroken when you tell them something that they're not going to live long? Nahi hota na?
No, no,
They'll
no.
get over it. Don't fragilize them. They'll get over
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
They see that you're right, they'll get over it.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I just have to be true to myself, and that is
Yes.
how I can deal.
Yes.
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 Yeah.
Okay.
Got it. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Thank you so much.
Okay. So we proceed.
Yeah.
Okay. So where was I? What were we talking about? I'm so sorry. I get totally distracted when we. Okay, so we were talking about how we can, what we can do with guilt, right? I think so. Okay, so we need to learn
Ma'am,
lessons.
hello.
Hanji.
Transaction analysis you are talking.
Yes, sir. Absolutely, absolutely. I didn't want to mention because I don't know how many of us are therapists here and how many of us are laymen. So let it be as a layman-like terms as possible, so they are able to understand. We've got around 60 people. I wanted to take it general. Okay, so we'll restart again. So we were talking about boundaries, right? So boundaries is one important lesson that we need to learn, and we also need to take self-responsibility for whatever has happened in the past, or whatever we might have done or not done in the past. Jiske wajah se whatever that situation has happened. So like how my mom has this habit of saying that tali ek haath se nahi bajti, you need two hands to clap. So somewhere we have to learn to take responsibility. Okay, and we need to accept that something has happened and it's a part of our past, so we cannot, definitely can't change it. What is done is done. Okay, so we have to learn how to accept it and forgive ourselves. Self forgiveness is again a very major lesson that we all need to learn, because we hold ourselves responsible for so many things and we carry so many burdens through our life. Okay, and we always need to tell ourselves, like how ma'am had just mentioned when she spoke about that she was crying when she spoke to that child, though he is like in a good position and he's doing well. So you need to, ma'am, tell yourself that at that time, whatever I thought, I wanted to do the best. My intentions were good. I did not want to hurt or harm anyone. I did the best that I could do with the knowledge I had at that time, and that's all that matters. Today I know I have a choice and I'm going to make a better choice. Okay, so you need to have self compassion for yourself also. Okay, so when you're holding yourself, when you're being critical and you're being judgmental about yourself, you also need to tell yourself that What if I was talking to a friend, okay, and this friend had told me what I feel now? How would I talk to that friend? That is something that you need to ask, okay? And the most important part when you're feeling guilty is to ask for forgiveness. Don't give excuses, don't give explanations. Just ask for forgiveness. Tell, I am sorry. I will never do this again. What can I do to make it better? Okay. And the most important part is to follow up after that. Okay. So it is about following up with your action and not just words. Because aaj ke date mein, I love you, thank you, and I am sorry has no meaning, because actions don't follow the words, right? It's also important to have gratitude within you, okay? And it's important to learn how to move on, right? So there are 2 points that I would like all of us to introspect. Think about, probably if you want to write down, if you have a pen and paper, you can just write down and just fill in the blanks. Just write down, I feel guilty about. I want you to do it right now. I feel guilty about filling the blanks. You can complete the sentence. All of us, we are writing. The second sentence is, I feel guilty because. Just write down, I feel guilty because, and complete the sentence, right? Whatever like you want to write. Done? Wonderful. Okay. So now I want all of you to take a deep breath. We'll be starting with the process. And before we start with the process, I would like to introduce you to the breath, okay? Because the breath is the most important thing which connects your conscious mind to your subconscious mind. It connects your mind to your body. The first thing that we do when we are born, we come out of our mother's womb, and it's the last thing that we do before we leave this body and die. Okay, so the breath is a very important thing that we have never probably paid attention to. So normally there are 2 kinds of breathing that we do. One is our chest breath, and the other is your abdominal breath. Okay, the chest breath is what we normally do. Even now probably all of us are doing a chest breath, and the other is your abdominal breathing. If you can just place your hand on your stomach and take in a deep breath through your nose and exhale through your mouth. Just visualize or imagine that you have a balloon inside your stomach, and when you inhale, that balloon extends, and when you exhale, it collapses. Now this is the abdominal breath. And let me tell you that the inhale is connected to your mind, just like the exhale is connected to your body. So when you want to assimilate information, when you want to take in something which is important, when you want to hold on to it, let the inhales be longer. And when you want your body to relax, when you want to feel calm and at peace, let your exhales be longer. Okay? So when you exhale through your mouth, exhale as if you are blowing into a balloon. And let it be long. The longer you exhale, the more relaxed your body will feel. Okay? And I especially love the technique which I call the 4-2-7. So you're inhaling through your nose, mentally counting to 4. You hold your breath, mentally count to 2. And you exhale through your mouth, mentally counting to 7. Okay? It's the 4-2-7 breath. And I want all of you, I urge you to do this breathing technique right now, because we'll be starting with the process. Yes? So inhaling, through your nose, mentally counting to 4. Holding, mentally counting to 2. And exhaling, counting to 7. Right? All of you have done it? Okay. So you're sitting in a comfortable position. You can just sit back. You can allow your eyes to close. Take in a deep breath, a very deep, relaxing breath. Feel this tension leaving your body as you settle down into a place of healing, self-reflection. Take in a deep breath. Be aware of each breath that you're inhaling and exhaling. And with each breath that you take, allow yourself to feel more relaxed, more calm, more at ease. Slowly feel yourself drifting, peaceful, relaxed, deeper into a very comfortable, very safe place within yourself. With each breath that you take, you feel more and more relaxed. And your mind and your heart let go of all worry, all tensions, all stress. A very warm, peaceful sensation which is growing inside your chest. Slowly you feel your entire body breathing a sigh of relief and comfort. Very soothing, very peaceful, very calm. Allowing all the stress of the day to slowly drift away. Feel your entire body feeling comfort and relief and peace. Every breath that you take, taking you more deeper, making you more calmer. Now allow yourself to imagine that there is this warm circle of light, soft light, maybe of any color. It's at the top of your head. And slowly you feel that circle of light expanding across your face, your head, soothing, caressing your skin as it relaxes all your facial muscles, your forehead, top of your head, back of your head, your neck. Feel these warm waves of relaxation traveling from your head, slowly down your neck, to your shoulders. Take in another deep cleansing breath. And these mild comforting waves of relaxation slowly travel down your shoulders, your arms, your chest, and they wash away any tension, any discomfort, any pain which is there. Your chest feels very comfortable, very relaxed as the waves of comfort and ease and peace spreading all through your body, traveling to your back, your hips, your stomach, your upper legs, your thighs, your knees. And as this feeling of letting go continues, notice how it slowly spreads to your legs, your calf muscles, your ankles, your feet. And notice how all the tension is leaving your body. And you feel more quiet, more calmer, more at peace inside yourself. Now all of you are seated in a place, maybe a room, Now allow yourself to visualize or imagine that you slowly get up from where you are seated and you walk to the door of your room. And as you hold on to that door handle or the knob of the door and open it, just imagine that you're traveling back in time into your own memories. Your past experiences that you're entering through the door are here with you now in your mind as recollections, as memories. You're totally safe and you're in charge when you travel back because it's your own past. You had been there before. And as you open that door, step into the time when that situation that is making you guilty even today is taking place. That particular event which is still making you feel guilty. Maybe you were very young at that time, or maybe it was just a few days ago, maybe even today. Just allow yourself to observe that entire sequence of events as it happens, right from the starting till the last end of this particular event. Experience it fully. All the sights, all the sounds, all the feelings, all the sensations, everything. Right from the beginning of the event. Just like you watch a movie on the big screen. Were you outside? Were you inside somewhere? Was it day? Was it night? Whom were you with? What were you wearing? What was the other person doing or saying? What did you think? What did you say? What did you do? What happened after this? How did it make you feel? Observe all the words, opinions, judgments that you have made for yourself and for others. It's like a concise summary of the event. What role did you play in this event? What did you decide for yourself? What was your belief system at that time which made you do or not do something, which is making you feel guilty today? What judgments, what decisions, what choices did you make because of what happened? Look at that entire event from an adult perspective from today. Ask yourself, why did it happen? What have you learned from this event? Is there anything else that you could have done? Anything else that could have been done? Any other choices that you had? Is there a different perspective to this? Can you look at it through a different angle? Now ask yourself, is this a pattern in my life? Do I keep doing the same thing again and again? What should I even do to change this? Take a deep breath. Now I want you to ask yourself, how is this incident affecting you now? What are you doing to cover up the guilt that you feel from that incident? Did this guilt have any reward, any gift for you? Is it serving you in some way? Who Who did you even become because of this guilt? Has it changed who you are on the inside, your identity? Has it changed the way you look at the world, or the way you look at yourself, or the way you interact with others, your relationships? Have you changed the story around this incident? What is the version that you tell now in your own mind or to others? Was there any belief system which made you behave in that way? Now take in a deep breath and visualize that other person whom you might have hurt, whose expectations you might not have met, or you have somehow, feel guilty for. Just visualize that person. Imagine that person in front of you. And please say sorry. Ask for forgiveness. Send a prayer from your heart. A prayer to mend what was broken, to correct what was wrong. And say in your mind, I am sorry for whatever I have done. You can just tell it in your mind. I feel so sorry for whatever. Please forgive me. I shall never repeat this again. You being hurt hurts me also because I care for you. I love you. Please accept my apology. How can I make things better from now on? Is there something that I can do to correct my mistakes? What can I do to make you feel better? Promise to yourself that you will do it to the best of your ability. Take in a deep breath. Now again, allow yourself to visualize the reason that you felt guilty. That situation, that event. Maybe you want to look at it like a frozen frame. Let's just deal with one event now. Otherwise, it's going to be a mega movie. So probably you want to look at it like a photo on your mobile screen. So just allow yourself to see that particular snapshot on your mobile screen. Visualize or imagine that you're seeing it. And now as you keep looking at that particular photograph, like all of us have smartphones and we zoom in and we zoom out, right? So I want all of you to just minimize that particular photograph until it's just a tiny dot in your mind screen. Just zoom out of it or just minimize it so much that you can no longer see the image. And now think back to that situation again. Go back to that event and ask yourself, what was positive about it? What was that lesson that I learned from there? How has that particular event which happened changed your life for the positive? What experience have I integrated into my life, which is helping me today? And get those feelings into your body. Integrate it fully. Feel these positive emotions. Get into every single cell in your mind, your body, your soul. And start feeling better than before. Now just allow yourself to put your hand on your heart and take 3 deep breaths. In through your nose and out through your mouth. And as you keep your hand on your heart, You can feel the beating of your heart as you breathe in and breathe out. Every breath going in through the heart, coming out through your heart. And in your mind's eye, find one happy event in your life. Maybe it was something that brought you a lot of joy, a lot of happiness. Maybe it was your graduation, maybe it was a party, maybe it was a birthday, maybe it was a birth of your child, maybe you achieved something, maybe it's a I'm not going to go into marriages now, but you get the drift, right? So it's a happy event which brings you a lot of joy. It can be anything. That one moment when you felt so much bliss, so much excitement, so much happiness, so much peace, so much of comfort. Allow yourself to experience it fully. All the sights, all the sounds, all the feelings, feel it completely. Allow all those feelings to integrate into you, your mind, your body, your soul. And smile as you do that. Slowly you can open your eyes and you can reorient to your surroundings. Welcome back. How do you feel now? Please make a note of whatever you have experienced today in a journal. Please write down specifically what it was that you have gone through. That will help you make sense, okay, of your emotions, of the things that are happening in your life. Yes, wonderful. So there is one food for thought I want all of you to introspect on. The opposite of guilt is blame. Okay. So when we are judging not ourselves, but another person, we are holding the other person accountable for certain things they have done or certain acts of omission or certain things that they have not done. Are you blaming someone in your life if you're not blaming yourself? Are you doing that with someone else? This is something that you need to introspect on. Okay. And that brings us to the last of the with this, I end my talk on the topic of guilt. And I do hope that it has created awareness, it has made you at least introspect the reasons why you have felt guilty. It has tried to make you analyze so that you're at least, you know that you have a choice. You know what needs to be done, and you will try and make efforts for the same. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity. My number is shared for those of you who would want to get in touch. I welcome your doubts, your queries, your suggestions, and I really appreciate a review. Thank you so much. Over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, ma'am, for the excellent session. Now, the participants, you have any question? Kindly unmute. After that, don't forget to mute. Yes, Gopalji.
I'm going through the chat. Thank you so much, everyone.
Jayan, you called me?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. You want to break the coconut the first time, huh? Okay.
Okay.
Very nice. Thank you very much, ma'am.
If possible, switch on the camera.
No.
Okay, it's okay. I know.
It was a wonderful session, and in fact, you explained it in a very simple way, and a lot of insight was given to the different categories of participants who had been part of the today's session. Somebody hearing you? Okay. Jen, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Okay, sorry, because I am in a other place. That's what Jen is a good friend of mine. That's what he called me first. Anyhow, Dr. Ashwini, you did well. Appreciation, and these are all something which we are a bit aware of. But you also would you ran through my thoughts. I mean, in the sense, run through. Better say that way. Nice, enjoyed it, and I'm sure most of the persons who have participated benefited a lot of takeaways for most of them. Thank you so much. May God bless you, and I expect to hear you again and reach higher heights in your profession. May God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, Jita.
Yeah. So we were talking about our guilt, but sometimes we want the other person to feel guilty. Like, for example, the other person not doing his responsibility or her responsibilities in a relationship. Or, how do you handle that? How do you get over that kind of thing when you're expecting the other person, but that person doesn't feel that, but you end up always wanting to make that person realize and feel guilty. How do you get over that?
That is something which is not there in our hands, Ajita.
Okay.
See, only our thoughts, our actions, what we are, our intentions are in our hands, but we cannot influence the other person that way. They are going through their own karmic lessons, like how we are going through our own. Okay. So it is for them to either feel guilty or not guilty, but we cannot force someone to feel either love or guilt. It is not in our hands. We cannot force someone to love us also. We can similarly not force someone to feel guilty also. We can definitely force someone to hate us, but this is not in our hands.
Okay.
So we should stop struggling, trying to control that situation, trying to make the other person feel an emotion which we think they should feel. Not possible. I've struggled with this for a very long time, and I've realized it's better to let it go.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, Pooja.
Adya has asked a question. Ma'am, does owning the mistakes which make us guilty help? See, owning the mistake is the first step. Okay. So if you're really feeling guilty about it, if you own the mistake, you need to accept yourself in spite of the mistake also. Okay, it is the first step. We went through the process also. So yes, it does help. But after that, there is a whole different process. It's just the first step. Okay, it does help. Yes, it does.
Any more questions?
Any insights after the experiential session which someone would love to share? I would really appreciate it. Is there
Hello, ma'am.
Baji, kuch light on hua? Something that you realized?
Hello,
Anji, sir.
ma'am.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
continue.
Am I hearing?
Yes.
Okay. It is our common sense that blaming others for our faults. Later, we are having that guilt in our mind. How we can eliminate that?
Correction, sir. Why understand why is it that I'm blaming the other person? Why do we blame? Because we do not want self-responsibility. That is somewhere, yes. So that is where we need to dwell on, we need to introspect on. Why am I comfortable with putting it in the other person's court? Self-responsibility is the key here. We need to own up. We need to be there where we need to be, so that we don't feel guilty later on.
Okay. Lohanova, can I?
Okay, yes, yes.
Lohanova, then may I take my turn?
Okay, sir.
My doctor, Sunny, I'm Gopal back again. First of all, appreciating. May I ask you one question?
Anji, sir.
Are you on the line, please?
Yes.
I want.
Sir, kindly unmute. You're muted.
Sorry. There's somebody.
Okay.
It went off. My screen went off. Yeah, one moment. Yeah, now I think there was some. No, okay. Jan, it's okay.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, sir.
No. Maybe an odd and very funny question. Don't you think guilt is part of a self-realization, doctor?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
I just want to know that. But
yes, it is self-realization.
Any more questions?
The last question we already gone through. We had answered this earlier. The feedback form has been posted.
Yeah, that is posted in the chat box.
Thank you, sir.
Padmini?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Continue.
Good evening, all of you. I'm Padmini, Coordinator, Nurture Life. On behalf of Nurture Life, I would like to thank Ashwini ma'am for conducting the workshop wonderfully. It was an insightful session, ma'am. I would also like to thank all the participants for taking the time out. I hope you all have something to take back from today's workshop. Our next workshop is an international workshop on 10th May, that is tomorrow, on the topic burnout.
10th June. 10th June.
Sorry, 10th June by Dr. Stephen W. Oliver. Details about the same will be shared in the group. Also, Nurture Life tele helplines are open for people in need. Feel free to contact our team. Before we close, I would like to remind you to please fill out the feedback forms before midnight in order to get your certificates. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Okay.
Pleasure.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Tomorrow's time at 7 p.m. because the speaker from USA.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. It was an excellent session.
Okay, thank you.
We ended on time, sir.
Yes, correct time.
Yes. Yesterday it was a little longer.
And just only if any participant is not copied the link. So I am just
Understood. Sir, I can
holding it.
log out?
Yeah, sure, sure.
Okay. Thank you
Okay.
so much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay.
Have a good evening.
Okay. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Mhm.